obviously it's very easy to cheat in chess because it's solved, but I have noticed that like on poker games that people like just casually have their phones out. Obviously people are recording or texting because you fold a lot and there's a lot of downtime. But how easy would it be to cheat in poker with your phone out?
So if you're cheating during a hand, it would be really obvious because you'd be like inputting stuff. Also, you're not allowed to use phones during a hand.
Oh, okay.
What you are technically allowed to do, which is the closest to cheating, but it is legal, is like, let's say you're in a turbo tournament, which means you have a small amount of blinds. You could be like, I'm going to be on the button next. Let's see, at 20 big blinds, what am I supposed to open with? And you could look at a pre-flop chart when it's not your turn.
Okay.
But even if you do that, there's so much variance in poker.
Right.
It's like, oh, wow, you memorized your pre-flop chart. Nice.
Nice.
Like, you want a pat on the back. And yeah, I mean, I don't remember if there have been any controversies with like people running sims, but like they'll usually run sims during the break where they'll look up at look up a hand and stuff like that.
Yeah. It's always been really impressive to me that, like, you know, watching Daniel Negreanu's vlogs, he'll come out of while he's on break and he'll remember the exact hand, what he has, the exact suits he has, the exact suits they have, the exact cards. And it seems like the same with chess as well. How many games have you played where you don't even have a board?
I actually don't like playing blindfold chess that much. Okay. But what is interesting about this is they did a test with one of the Polgar sisters, and she was number 10 in the world as a female, so she was the greatest female chess player of all time.
Oh, wow.
Like top 10 overall, not for women.
Right, yeah.
And they did a test where they would put chess positions and see if she'd memorize them, and she could quickly. But then if they would put the pieces randomly on the board with like no pattern, that's not actually a chess position, then it would be much closer to average. So I think a lot of the memory comes because you're thinking deeply about it, so it's easier to replay it.
Oh, okay. I mean, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think coming from a noob standpoint, I think it's in Queen's Gambit. I know.
Good references.
That they're driving and they're playing each other while they're driving.
Yeah, you can do that. You can play blindfolded. It's not like if you play chess for long enough, it's not that difficult depending on like how your brain works, I guess.
Yeah.
Like for me, blindfold is much harder than it should be for my level, but I can still play blindfold.
Okay. That is so interesting.
Yeah.
What is you and your sister's relationship, and I'm sure it's been all up and down, not in relationship with your sister, but how you guys feel about that show? About what happened, because I'm sure it has gone up and down.
So it was really funny because when the show came out, they reached out to us to sponsor us, and I was like, oh, cool.
Oh, really?
A Netflix show about chess. So then I ended up having to watch it as a sponsor, and I was only supposed to watch the first 3 episodes. I watched all of it that night. I was like, holy shit, this is so good. And then I just saw it explode, and I mean, this is the biggest thing that it's like you're catching lightning in a bottle for the chess industry. All of a sudden, chess sets were selling out. All of the major news publications were reaching out to us. Everybody be like, Queen's Gambit IRL. Yeah. So it was incredible what it did for the world of chess. It was a complete game changer. Before, when I said I was a chess streamer, nobody had any fucking clue what I was talking about. It was weird as hell. And after Queen's Gambit, people would be like, oh, wow. Right. So it made this weird thing I was doing online before turn into something super cool now.
Cool.
So I was really grateful for it. But Andrea and I do have this bit when people sometimes are like, oh, have you seen the Queen's Gambit? Or like, what's that? They're like, it's a movie about chess. I'm like, Andrea, come quick. They made a movie about chess. Holy shit, this is going to be huge for us. It's like, yeah, dude, it's our job. We've seen it. But I understand people do it to relate. But we do get asked the question so often.
I can only imagine. It still goes on to this day?
Still to this day. But
they're going to make a movie.
It's good social skills. It's like, oh, you play chess? Let me relate with this thing that I know about chess, so I get it.
Yeah, I get that. I think when you're doing anything online, there's that one thing where you're like, you have to like kind of eat it a little bit.
Exactly.
Like, have you ever seen this? And I'm like, yeah,
what is it for you?
Of course. A lot of it are like videos I've done in the past.
Yeah.
And which I'm very grateful for because people, you know, but my peak as of now in my career was like a documentary series I made like 6 years ago. And people always come up and they're just, you know, they like to relate with that series, but I haven't done it in so long that like I can't even, it's like a different lifetime, you know?
Yeah.
But there's a bunch of different things like that. Do you have any examples of stuff like that in COD? Also, Call of Duty like peaked. Like the biggest viewership and the biggest stuff that had ever happened was in like 2013, 2014.
But is it still trending upwards after that peak?
Yes, it's trending upwards now.
Yeah.
It's definitely had a rough go of it, but people like to bring up those years. Like, oh yeah, I played Black Ops 2 in 2013, and I'm like, yeah. So it's not the same because there hasn't been a esports movie that people constantly, but I just didn't, I never knew if it was like annoying. Like Oh, you're talking about the chess show about the girl that plays chess? Yeah, of course I've.
Yeah, I just think it's funny when people ask me if I've seen it. It's like, well, I've been doing chess. Chess is literally my job, right. And it was the #1 show all around. But again, it makes sense. Okay, it's cool. So yeah.